there's some kind of something that he picks up. I've heard the song so many times before. Everything is moving in some direction. And it's going to that place where you want to be. And right now, I've heard those words seemingly for the first time. Because even though you're moving off of what we consider to be the present moment in the physical world, even though you may be doing that, you're moving to a place that you want to be. And so I'm listening to that, and I'm seeing that the theme this morning, or this whole month, is the fruits thereof. And I'm feeling all of this that's going on within me right now. This week, we had two of our beloved shuffle off the mortal coil. Deborah Ford and Donna's mother, Donna Brown's mother. And for those of you who've been walking this walk with me, you know that my brother shuffled off the mortal coil this week. They're both up there now having this wonderful reunion this time, or wherever the up there or around there is. They're having this wonderful time. And it occurred to me, I always say shuffle off the mortal coil. And I think I first heard that statement when I was in seminary, and I heard Brother Michael speak of it, and it brought back the memories of Shakespeare and Hamlet and the dream state, when it's shuffling off the mortal coil. And the mortal coil, evidently, I might not be on. Am I on now? Let me keep going. And keep going. Yahoo, yes. All right, we're getting used to this new apparatus that I wear on my hip now. But when I first heard it, and realized, shuffle off the mortal coil, and coil means the burden of life, or whatever it means, the words speaking at that time. Check out what's wrong. Okay, now. And keep talking. All right? Sometimes those things are gone once I get going. But what we're speaking of is that, for me, the mortal coil, of course, means the life, shuffling off away from life. But I have to add something, and I always have been now just more consciously adding it, because it's shuffling off the mortal coil into immortality. For me, that part Shakespeare didn't know that part possibly, but I think it has to be added. Because when we lay our burdens down, when we lay this physical form down, that's not the end. It's just the gateway to the beginning. It's a gateway to the continuation of that journey that was set in motion sometime before. In this teaching, we believe that life is eternal. And so wherever there might be that grieving, as one of my dear friends said, the heart may still ache. From the physical side, there is a rejoicing of the release that the individual has chosen to take at that time. Because as we've been saying in this teaching also, that there is always choice. You heard it today. I choose to do this. I choose to release and let go. And we know that when the physical form can no longer hold that life force, there is a releasing. There's a letting go. There's a gentle sweeping away. And so we don't know all of it yet. But what we do know is that there is something beyond now. We may not be able to prove it, but then science can't prove a lot of things. Mathematicians can't prove a lot of things. You just have to take some things because you believe it. Because it's the truth for you. And it feels good within your soul. When you are ready to allow that which is the natural order of things to take its place. And we're born to die. Every step in our birth is a step closer to our physical death. But then when you look at it as a continuum, a continuation of life, the death is only the physical. Because we're made up of the spiritual and the physical. And so when one part of us decides to lay down, that doesn't mean the other part does also. The spirit continues into whatever existence, wherever it is to be. It is in that space of the unknown. And I know on my brother's journey, and I had an opportunity to speak to Deborah, on both of their journeys, there was a lot that we here on the physical plane, dealing with the senses that we have, don't understand. There's a lot going on that we don't even realize is taking place in the invisible. But it's not until you stop and think that it happened in the invisible before it became physical. You've got to see that there was something that was there beyond what you could see until you could see it. So the reverse is true. When you're saying goodbye, you see it, but then there's the invisible that you don't see. You see how the life continues on in all of its wondrous state? So there are some things we don't know. There are some spiritual communications that we're not even privy to, because it's a closed club at that time. When they're going on to a different realm, when they're leading on to something new, when their eyes are holding the beloved, there's something we just don't know. Nor can we know why the calling took place as it did. The timing for the calling. When we question why, we don't fully understand. It's not for us to understand. We can't understand everything. We have a hard time understanding ourselves. So when we try to understand somebody else, our relatives, our friends, then that leads us into the suffering that we do. So we take a good clue out of Buddhist teaching in that attachment leads to suffering. So if you can detach from that which you think you understand, or from that which you think somebody else should be doing, then you're in a good place. Because you no longer have the burden of what their response is, and you can start living the life the way you're supposed to live it. Because you're following different scripts. Your script in life is not the same script as somebody else's. You're following your own script. And you've got enough lines to try to remember in this lifetime. You've got enough to try to handle in this lifetime that addresses just you. For the life itself is designed for you. The reading this morning and some of the readings said, it's your life, it's your creation. That life is supposed to be exactly as you would have it to be. We're speaking of the allness thereof, the fruits thereof. You're the ones who identify what the fruits are going to be. The fruits are the demonstrations you make in your life. The fruits are those things that you pluck off the tree of possibilities, infinite possibilities, and you claim those fruits as yours. Not just those that are the low-hanging fruits, but those that are hard to reach sometimes. You claim them as yours. And once you identify that they are yours, then that's what is. Because you have created it. You've created it from the energy, the passion, and all of the feelings that you have. That this is mine to do. This is for me. And you identify all of that, and you keep creating from that space of understanding and realization. You create into that invisible that you can't see. But you truly have truth and faith and belief in.